broadcasting stations.
It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sportstime, a Tuesday, April 25th edition of the show. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. Me and Jay, we're in the Family Leisure Studios like we always are and over across the river in Arkansas. Brett Norsworthy is with us as always. And Brett, that was a heartbreaker last night in Los Angeles. It was not what you wanted to see in the second game before returning to Memphis.
It was excruciating, Bryant. Good afternoon. It was. And the late hour made it even more excruciating. I don't know if the late hour would have bothered us as much in victory as it did in defeat. And the Grizzlies had a lot of chances to win that game. You know, from about the 8-minute mark of the first quarter until about the 6-minute mark of the second quarter was just some of the worst basketball for both sides that you'll see. Mm-hmm. And the Grizzlies got in a very deep hole, but then got out of it and got it pretty square at halftime, close enough at halftime, and then led on going into the fourth quarter on that miraculous dunk by Ja Morant right before time expired, going into the fourth quarter, and then had its opportunities and came up a little short. 9 of 42 from threes. The Lakers weren't much better, 10 of 36 from threes, but 9 of 42 with a lot of pretty decent looks, and just couldn't get one to go down. It sure wasn't Desmond Bane's fault last night.
No, it was
the
not.
Blame game is going to be out there. I do want to, though. I do think it is fair in not making an excuse of how different this team has been without Steven Adams. Yeah. Now, it's been without Steven Adams, since January 31st? Yeah. That was the injury in Phoenix?
That sounds right, yeah.
But had that prolonged bad stretch without him anywhere, and it continued mostly on the road, and it continues now. I don't want to be the excuse guy, but if it's a valid reason, I think it has to be noted and certainly expanded on and in many cases confronted. There are other reasons, though, and one of the biggest going against arguably one of the 2 or 3 greatest players of all time.
Absolutely.
Who didn't know he was taking that shot at the end?
I mean, if you didn't know, do you even watch basketball? I think that was everyone knew. But you're right. I think the point about Steven Adams is a great one, and especially when you're going up against a team that has a center like Anthony Davis. And I've heard some people kind of talk about his consistency this series and this and that. But defensively, he's been great this series. In all 4 games, really. He's come up with some massive blocks, some massive stops, and it's just been a really good defensive piece. And you saw it last night. You saw when Ja had the opportunity to respond, block the shot. Mm-hmm. You saw a couple block shots earlier that could have extended the Grizzlies' lead. So, it's really tough when you don't have a guy like Steven Adams, not even to mention the second chance opportunities, the offensive rebounds, the spacing that he creates on the offensive end. I think that's been the whole key this series, is that you're playing a good Los Angeles Lakers team without an extremely important player on the roster.
A really good Lakers team that's finally got its team. Mm-hmm. And now I do think Darvin Ham for this series has kind of had his way with Taylor Jenkins. But when you're up 3-1, most coaches have kind of had their way with the coach that's down 1-3. That's no shocker there. There's so many different ways, Brian, that we can and we will go today and in this off season. I'm not going to try to be the person that say, get it to 3-2 tomorrow night at FedEx Forum and, shock the world Friday night in Los Angeles and then return back here Sunday. I'm not going to try to do that today. I may try to do it tomorrow. And I sure may try to do it Thursday after getting that Game 5 win, I hope, tomorrow night at FedEx Forum. I may attempt that Thursday and Friday. I don't know. I'm really torn on how heavy today and in this offseason do I want to be at the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
A year ago, I could comfort myself with, won a series, very young, precocious, had some injuries, and just needed that sweet test of time, just needed a little more seasoning.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can that whenever this ends, whether it ends 4-1, which will be particularly ugly if it ends 4-1 and closed out at home and lose 2 at home, and we know all that. But even if it's 4-2 after yet another crypto loss Friday night, well, I don't know that I can do that this year. For one thing, didn't win a series this year.
Yeah,
we'll have had one less regular season games last year. Did finish 2, had a lot of adversity, some self-inflicted. Sure. And everybody knows all this. I'm just really torn because I'm torn by in my frustration and just my own sense of fairness in calling it even-handed. Yeah. Balls and strikes for everyone. And I drill the Tigers after their loss to FAU. And it's not the time for this today, but I will ask it at some point, kind of what was uglier? First-round NCAA tournament loss to FAU or a first-round exit in a series to a 7 seed?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I was with one of my buddies last night after the game, and he looked over at me and said, I don't know what was worse, this loss tonight or the loss against Florida Atlantic for the Tigers. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of people compare the two for sure. But I think you're right. I mean, you look at last year's team, like you said, won a series, was competitive with the Warriors, clearly got into their heads and made some noise. And then, like you said, you go into this series. And I feel like I've been fairly pessimistic about this series after the first game. When they lost to the Lakers, just because I've seen what they've done on the road this year and now what they've done in these 2 games in Los Angeles. And now I've seen that the Lakers can come into FedEx Forum and win a game. And so I think you look at all that, but you're right. I mean, how do you kind of go about this of, well, there was the big injuries, but I think a bigger question that could be asked is the value that you kind of entered the season with, because I don't think entering the season people thought Steven Adams was going to be as valuable to this roster as he was in the playoffs. It was Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be that big piece. And ultimately, I think everyone's kind of pointing back to, well, if Steven Adams was in this series, it might be very different.
And I think it would be different with Brandon Clark and his switchability on somebody like Rui Abdul-Jabbar. Now he didn't hurt the Grizzlies as much last night, but still had some pretty decent looks and made some shots. But Austin Reeves did, and a couple times Austin Reeves on shake and bake blow-bys of Ja Morant.
Yeah, I mean, and we've kind of talked about how smart of a player he is and how he kind of plays in his own, and he knows his strengths and weaknesses, and he's creative, and he can definitely hurt you in several different ways. But you're right. I mean, 23 points last night for Austin Reeves. I mean, it seems like it's either this series has either been he's going to hurt you or Rui's going to hurt you. One of them's going to hurt you.
Had leading scorer for the Lakers. Desmond Bain, leading scorer for the game. Leading scores for the Lakers. Austin Reeves. Insert whatever middle name you want. I'll just stay with Magic. Austin Magic Reeves with more points in a playoff game than LeBron James and more than Ja Morant.
I mean, what do you say after that?
With a feather. I got nothing left.
What do you want me to say to that, Brett?
2 hours and 51 minutes.
I mean, close up shop. That's the show. I mean, what am I supposed to say after that? But yeah.
No, we don't have 2 hours and 51 minutes. We're out early. Thank goodness.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, because I'm kind of almost out of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mind-blowing, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, he's been really, really good this year. He's been good all season, but he's really stepped up in the playoffs.
Now everybody knows.
Everybody knows. One, it's so tough. I mean, you kind of think about what he's gone through to get to this position, and for him to step up in a playoff situation, because that's kind of the young guys. It's, well, are they going to be able to be productive in the playoffs? And he really has been. But you talk about LeBron James. I mean, 22 points, 20 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, he was doing a little bit of everything last night.
He really did, and I wish we had the old John Brinkus sports science stuff on ESPN.
Yeah, I love that.
And I had him on at a couple of Super Bowls.
Really?
He's as smart as you can.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's that smart. Great to talk to. Kind of a little bit dweeby.
Well,
but,
I mean,
but
sports science.
But he probably kind of thought I was too. Yeah. But it was just fascinating to talk to. But I would love. I mean, that trajectory, how close Jaron got to it, and then that high off. I mean, it was up there at the top of the glass.
Yeah. Yeah, it was impressive and soul crushing all at the same time. But even his
it really was.
Yeah, it was. Bad.
And you kind of felt the inevitability of overtime.
Yeah, and you felt the inevitability of overtime, and you felt, well, you kind of let this one slip away, especially after the fast start. The Lakers got off to an overtime, and how flat the Grizzlies came out in that overtime period. But even go back to the one LeBron James had on Dillon Brooks. I mean, that was. Talk however you want about what he was very, very happy he had that opportunity against Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, he was, and Dillon Brooks, and really, and John Moran as well, not speaking post-game. Now, I'm seeing a lot of this today. Okay, the media, y'all want them to shut up, and then when they don't talk, you're mad at them.
Yeah.
We can do both, and people know the difference. People know the difference between a loudmouth and when it's time to be a pro and stand up and talk. And I was taught, and many others were taught, if you don't talk after you lose, then I don't really care to hear from you after you win.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a bad look. It really is, especially with Dillon Brooks, because, I mean, you kind of played this whole thing up and you poked the bear, and then now that the bear is poking
mauled
back,
you.
Yeah, I mean, mauled you.
The bear mauled him.
Call it how it is. You just kind of shut down and you don't answer any questions or talk to anybody. It's definitely a bad look.
Who I think it was Kendrick Perkins says the bear covered himself in honey, or you covered yourself in honey, and the bear mauled you.
That's pretty accurate.
And he has, and he did.
Yeah.
Can the Grizzlies win tomorrow night? Yeah,
sure.
And then you have the old puncher's chance. I'm not wishing it, but there could be an injury on the other side. We don't know.
Sure.
A lot of factors can happen, but we also know that 3-1 is daunting math.
Yeah, it's
that's a fancy word for almost hopeless.
Yeah, I mean it really is, and I think we all kind of agreed going out to LA. You wanted to see something on the road. You wanted them to split. I mean, we kept talking before they went out there. You split this, and you feel pretty good. You come back and you're 2-2. You feel really, really good about your situation because you get that home court advantage back, and you have 2 games at home. But now, I mean, it's going to be hard to win 2 games at home and 1 on the road, especially after what they've shown these past 2 games.
And it felt like last night that the winner of that game was going to win this series, and it sure feels like that today.
Yeah, it does. But we're talking
feels a lot worse than the other night.
It does.
That game felt worse than Game 3.
Oh, 100%. I mean, because this is kind of that nail. I mean, hammer, nail, coffin. This one feels almost over. I mean, unless something crazy happens in the next couple of games. But hey, I mean, if you want to take a positive from it, they scored more than 9 points in the first quarter. So, I mean, that's a positive. But that's a very
Dillon
positive.
Brooks quit shooting in this game.
Yeah,
thank goodness.
Actually, had a better shooting percentage than everyone outside of Xavier Tillman last night in the starting lineup. So, I guess positive there.
Santi Aldama's minutes
can't play him.
It was only 7. Continued to be terrible. And reminiscent last year at playoff time when DeAnthony Melton just didn't have it.
Yeah.
It just a lot different regular season player, and particularly at home, than on the road in the playoffs. And that happens.
It does, especially with young players like Santi. I mean, has been really, really good and has been a big –
and he walked on his 2 points. That was traveling.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, super productive in the regular season for the Grizzlies off the bench. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, just can't play him anymore in this playoff series. But let me set up today's show before we get into top and not top story of the day. We'll stick with the Grizzly conversation at 3:30 because Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio Network will join us to talk about last night's game and the next game tomorrow night at home, which is now a can't-lose game for the Grizzlies if they want to continue their season. At 3:45, we'll talk a little NFL with the Aaron Rodgers trade yesterday and the NFL draft coming up this week. A lot to get to there. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us to talk some college football. He's been all over the spring games the past couple of weeks, so we'll definitely get his thoughts about everything that happened over the weekend. 4:30, we'll talk more about the NBA playoffs, the 2 games last night, the Grizzlies, and in addition, the Miami Heat and Milwaukee Bucks game. We'll also talk about the games tonight. 4:45, we'll do big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant will join us from collegepro.com and Sports Illustrated to talk about the NFL and the upcoming draft. We'll talk to Bo for about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll get to an early Taco Bell crunch time so we can get out for Ole Miss versus Mississippi State pregame at 5:30. That first pitch is scheduled for 6 o'clock. But we're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The Vacation at Home sale is going on right now over at Family Leisure. Pools, spas, patio furniture, play gyms, all available during the Vacation at Home sale. The pools, they have the lowest prices in town, and get a free liner upgrade with pool purchases during the sale. The spas are up to $1,000 off of the in-stock spas. The patio furniture, they have a huge showroom of in-stock inventory, so buy now and enjoy tomorrow. And the play gyms are on sale for $19.99. Special financing is also available during the Vacation at Home sale. Mention this ad and receive half off installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Thank you so much, Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. You can call them at 901-334-9673. You can drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is what we've been talking about to start the show, the 117-111 win for the Lakers over the Grizzlies to give them a 3-1 series lead. They came out and scored the first 6 or so points to lead the game, but then it was Lakers. It was back and forth in the second half. The Grizzlies had a lead late. It seemed like they had a couple opportunities to win the game and closed it out in regulation, but ultimately LeBron James comes up big and ties it with less than a second left, and the Grizzlies don't have enough time to answer in regulation. It goes to overtime. Like I said earlier, the Grizzlies just came out extremely flat to start that overtime. The Lakers go out, score the first couple of points, and it just seems like it was all LA in overtime to get that series win. So coming back to Memphis, it's going to be a tall order to win 3 straight games to win this series. Now it will be at home, and the Grizzlies have looked really good at home. So 2 out of the 3 will be there, but it's going to be a tall task.
With about 2 minutes to go, I texted our friend Rob Fisher. I said it's either going to feel real good or really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And it feels really, really, really bad. Differently than last year for a lot of reasons. That's my top story. It's the top story around town today, and it happened because of a 22-point, 20-rebound, oh, by the way, 7 assists, and a couple of blocks from the old man, from LeBron, and an overtime win that the Grizzlies, in overtime, they look tired. I think some of that goes back to maybe too much energy expended late when Game 3 was waved the white flag. I'm not talking about quit. I'm not talking about laying down either. Everybody knows the fine lines between talking too much before the game and then not facing the media post-game. In Game 3, knowing kind of when to fold them. I thought a lot got energy expended then, and I think the Grizzlies were tired in overtime, and they're the younger of the 2 teams. A lot of things you can dissect. Love Xavier Tillman. But why was he out there so tightly guarding LeBron James. If LeBron James pulls up and buries a 28-foot three at the buzzer, you lose on a 28-foot three at the buzzer. Okay. But you know if you get belly button to belly button to him, he's probably going to his right. He's going around you. If the inside player's overcommit, he's going to throw it to somebody on a wing or a corner three, and they're going to try a three-pointer at the buzzer. It worked. It's easy to second-guess Xavier Tillman and the play call. It was a great play by a great player to crush us. And I said earlier, I think Darvin Ham has handed it to Tyler Jenkins in this series. Here's my proof. 3-1.
Yeah.
You've handed it to the other team and to the other coach. Now, we know the Grizzlies will be back at home tomorrow night, and this will be a first-round exit after winning in the first round last year. Plenty of excuses, plenty of very valid excuses. But whenever the Grizzlies exit from this, whether it's Wednesday night or Friday night or next Sunday afternoon, whenever, this will be 3 years of this group, of this Ja, Jaren, Bane grouping, with one series win over the Timberwolves.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day, I mean, we've talked a lot about the Grizzlies and Lakers for good reason, but the game before that was incredibly fun. I mean, that was...
Oh, by the way,
I mean, that game
56?
was awesome. 56
That's a good
points
number.
From Jimmy Butler. It is a good number. But, whew, I mean, he was unbelievable down the stretch. They were down by double digits. And,
I see 856 is behind you right now in the screenshot behind you.
Wow. I'm not going to count them right now. That might take all day. But I'll take your word for it. But, yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable. That team was unbelievable down the stretch. Some key guys knocking down some key shots in addition to what Jimmy Butler did. And they take a 3-1 lead over the Milwaukee Bucks.
Commanding lead.
Whew. Commanding, to say the least, which I did not expect that game to go like that when we left here, but I was not mad about it.
I didn't expect it with 4 minutes to play. I thought
No.
Milwaukee kind of had the hand on the steering wheel.
Thought it was over.
But kind of motoring along pretty well. And then playoff Jimmy Butler and playoff Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
And now they got 3 cracks to win once. Same math the Lakers have.
Yep.
My not top story from the NFL. It was really big yesterday, but it will resonate all summer long. All the different topics, directions we can go. And it's Aaron Rodgers leaving Titletown, leaving Lambeau. Now, I take a little glee in that he's leaving. I like Aaron Rodgers. I like the Packers. I like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
But still, with more Super Bowls than Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, Bar Star.
Yeah.
Bar Star. Good old number 15, still hanging on. Good old Bart Starr with 2 Super Bowls and 5 championships, 3
Wow.
NFL championships pre-Super Bowl, and Super Bowls 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Still hanging on. I think is the greatest Packer quarterback. I know statistically he's not, but I know we don't play like we played when he played,
Right.
and how he had to play back then. Vince Lombardi would have a fit at throwing the ball on 3rd and 2. I think he'd have a fit at throwing the ball on 3rd and 7.
Maybe.
But Aaron Rodgers is now with the Jets from Lambeau to Broadway, and officially the Jets have had they've got him. They've got their great quarterback. They've had decent quarterbacks since Namath. Richard Todd was a good quarterback. He got to an AFC championship game. Ken O'Brien was a good quarterback. Boomer Esiason was good.
Yeah.
Vinny Testaverde was real good. Favre was good. Better than most people think that 1 year there. But Joe Namath, the last Jet to even receive MVP votes.
Wow.
Even receive them. That's hard to believe.
Sure
that some of their other players didn't even get a single MVP vote. And Joe Namath still leads the Jets in all-time passing yards. Well, Favre's not going to break that. I'm sorry, Rodgers is not going to break it. Favre didn't come close. Namath's career record with the Jets, 60, 61, and 4. Under 500.
Wow.
But he came through on that Super Bowl Sunday with that big guarantee. Aaron Rodgers with this young team, that defense was solid last year. And before Breece Hall got hurt, we knew they could run the ball. They can make a run this year, and with playing their home game playing the Giants at MetLife Stadium, that'd be a road game. And they get 9 others at home. They play 10 games basically at home this year.
Wow. Well, things are looking good for the Jets, I guess. But I'm still
favorite Jet of all time, Brian. You got one?
Aaron Rodgers.
Chad Pennington.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Chad Pennington from?
I don't know the answer.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
I have his jersey still at home today.
Do you really?
No, you got to love
My
it.
favorite Jet is, will, and forever will be Joe Willie.
It's a good one.
He's got a great jacket. I see him on TV all the time advertising something. Medicare, Medicaid, something like that.
They're all advertising something nowadays. But
Joe does a lot of Medicaid.
Oh, he does. I can't get away from him.
Does a great
honestly.
job.
And great cardigan sweaters and all of them.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day.
Him and Jimmy J.J. Walker. Those are the two guys that are always advertising.
Dynamite.
Right. Dynamite.
That's right. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk more Grizzlies with Gary Darby from the Grizzly Radio Network. That's next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Give me liberty and give me real estate.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and that was Hugh Mallory. Not only does he work with me at Mark Spensdorf Realtors, he is the president of this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl. So you, instead of sounding like Patrick Henry, what do you mean?
Well, Sheldon, like you, I sell real estate, and I'm also privileged to serve as president of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl. I'm able to handle all my clients, whether they're buying or selling, while participating in this great annual tradition.
Hugh, that is definitely quite an honor. And with your fabulous track record in real estate sales, I know you'll do a great job. And I am so looking forward to the Liberty Bowl Golf Classic on Monday, June 5th.
For you, it's a moving target. I wouldn't mark my calendar just yet. Your reputation as the worst golfer in Memphis precedes you.
That may be true, but You Will Move You is something to remember, and you can reach you at 497-9756. Just like it's why people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn. You can reach me, Shell Dunn, at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Los Cabos is famous for their authentic Mexican food, great steak fajitas, enchilada tacos, and unbelievable seafood freshly flown in from crab legs to shrimp, and Los Cabos handcrafted margaritas. Come watch your favorite game. 4 locations to choose from: Quince, Bartlett, Germantown, and Goodman Road. Take advantage of the Los Cabos Daily Happy Hour specials. Monday and Tuesdays, 2-for-1 margaritas on the rocks from 3 to 7 p.m. Tuesday and Wednesday from 3 to 7 p.m., Margaritas Jumbo, $6.99, Flavored Margarita Jumbo, $7.99, and House Wine, $4. Los Cabos Weekend Special is Jumbo Lime Margaritas, $6.99. Come to Los Cabos, best Mexican sports bar in town. Get a Sports 56 beer and lunch special starting at $7. Daily beer specials, all draft beer, 16-ounce, $2.99. Los Cabos, the best Mexican sports bar in town.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. We've talked a lot about the Grizzlies' loss to the Lakers, but joining us now to give some more insight on what has happened this series, Gary Darby from the Grizzlies Radio Network joins us now. Gary, thanks for joining us. Obviously, last night was an unfortunate loss for the Grizzlies, another kind of road loss that we've seen throughout this season. What do you think, in your opinion, has kind of gone wrong for this team on the road? They've been so good at home, but just can't get it going on the road. What do you think has been some of the causes for that?
Yeah, the fact is they're down 3-1 and a loss goes in that column, but each loss seems really different to me, along the way. The game 3 loss, no one hit shots early in that first quarter, and then it was over 12 minutes in. I know the Grizzlies got back, within single digits. Last night, they got down by 15. They got the good start and had that moment where they're up 7, 5:13 to go in the fourth, and you felt pretty good. And then a guy that was 0 for 4 from three-point range all of a sudden goes 3 for 3 and scores 9 straight. It's just been a combination of a lot of things, and over time of watching the NBA, not just doing the little portion of the work that I do on the radio broadcast, but over life, teams have to progress, right, with age and with times being in the playoffs. Each team that's finally made it, throughout time, whether Jordan led them through or whether it was the Pistons or the Lakers of old or, LeBron and any of his teams, they had to take steps. And this is just an unfortunate part of the step process for the Grizzlies, that they have to find a way to figure out how to win these games, and the one last night comes to, just missing some open shots to me for the Grizzlies. And then at the end, one of the guys that's been the best to ever dribble an orange round piece of leather or whatever it's made out of these days and putting it in the rim did something that no other, he went for 22 and 20 at age 38. That is amazing to me, really that LeBron James was still able to do that kind of work. In the end of it, at this point, I think it's the maturity that not only he has, but some of these other players too. D'Angelo Russell's been around at least. Anthony Davis, has been around. Jared Vanderbilt's been around in the league. But they've got the two guys, and especially that one guy in LeBron, that's just, he's able right now to will them to something that the Grizzlies haven't been able to do. And hopefully they can find that out pretty quick.
Gary, I said earlier we're going to have a lot of examination the rest of the summer. I don't want to completely write off the rest of this series because things can happen. Win tomorrow night. I'm not wishing. I don't want to win this way, but I know injuries can happen. Shock the world Friday night, set up Sunday afternoon at FedEx Forum. I really would like to take some solace in that. It's hard for me to sell that right now because of the sting of last night. But do you think the Grizzlies are racking up scar tissue or just scars?
Ooh, that's a pretty good question. And you are asking the Grizzlies to do something that's never happened. LeBron James has never lost a series when he's up 3-1. I'd like to say, it's a little combination. I think they're definitely getting the scars, aren't they? They're getting the scars. They're getting those. They're getting some learning experiences that hopefully teach them how to handle this next year and the next year. I think it's a combination of all that. Some guys may just be getting some scars, and some may be getting the scar tissue. The long.
You're right. It's not zero sums. Some are really racking up that trap, the laps around the track. Some are just won't be a part of a Grizzlies' future playoff run. But last year, Gary, I could really take consolation in won a series. And it's Steph and the Warriors. I could take consolation in. This sounds like a spoiled sport, a bad loser. I still don't think the Lakers are this good.
When you look at it, even with the injuries of Adams and Clark, these two rosters are about as equal as you could think, right? So the disappointing part is I do feel like, that with those two bigs on the inside, it's a different world. But, I mean, my goodness, other teams are going through this too, right? Miami has lost Tyler Hero. They've lost Victor Oladipo off the bench, yet they're up 3-1. Jimmy Butler has willed them to, 56 points last night. Other teams are doing this while injured, and a lot of injuries have happened in the NBA. I do feel, though, Brett, that there's not that big a difference roster to roster. Again, to me, it just seems like the more veteran group, and especially that one veteran guy, has helped them win 2 more games than the Grizzlies to this point. And the tough part is, Anthony Davis has had 2 somewhat off games, and you haven't been able to take advantage of that. You got to win that game if you're this young Grizzlies team. And they haven't been able to find that way.
Gary, everyone, when they talk about the series, the first name that comes up is Dillon Brooks. Obviously, we know what he said after Game 2 about poking the bear and come show me 40 to LeBron. But we've seen him now in these 2 games in Los Angeles, the crowd chanting at him, the ejection in the first game in Los Angeles. Then last night, I thought he played fine or did an okay job out there. But after the game, again, refused to talk to media, him and Ja. Elected to decline talking to media after the game. But what do you make of all this with Dillon Brooks in these past 2 games in Los Angeles?
Well, you watched him play last night. He did the things, kept his mouth, he didn't say a lot of things. He went at it. He defended as best he could. Mm-hmm. He had some open shots that didn't go down, but that's kind of been through history, part of things anyway. And then still at the end, it didn't come out. Brett can tell you this over time. We've been in locker rooms of all sports. It doesn't matter what it is, from the high school level all the way up, where guys don't want to talk at all. Some will, some won't. And I think, truthfully, again, to me, I hope at least, this could be something that Dillon looks back at and makes him better to still do the things he does defensively, provide you with what he can do, and become a better leader, because somebody at this point has got to be that for this Grizzlies team. If they're going to win Game 5, they got to find that guy. I know once they get into FedEx Forum, it's a little different than them being on the road, but for Dillon, it's been a rough go, and we can embrace being the villain at times, and if that's what it is, that's what it is. I've always been of this, because I grew up in this world too, watching those teams of the 80s and early 90s. They didn't like each other. They did talk. They did do things. But you can't always be friends, but you got to be smart at how you go about it sometimes, too. And I think I'm all for the whole Memphis deal, right? And want this to be the learning experience that helps the Grizzlies get over that next little hump.
And Gary, you talk about talking to people, and then sometimes we talk to ones post-game in locker rooms, and you later realize, what in the world was I wanting to talk to him for? Why did I ask you? I have written down a name, and I'm going to show it to Bryant. Bryant, can you see that name? Don't call it out.
I can.
Okay. I'm going to ask Gary Darby this question. In all of your sports interaction through the years, who is the best guy in victory and in defeat that you've ever talked to post game. It doesn't. I mean, the highs aren't that high. The lows, he's still there and a stand up guy. Who is it?
Are you talking through my Grizzlies time or all time?
Anything, any connection. Ole Miss, college football, anywhere.
Oh wow. Well, I will say this: my time through the Memphis Grizzlies, Dave Yeager was tremendous to me. Was absolutely, from an assistant coach coming in during the post game shows and sitting there and listening and talking, and then after getting the head job and moving on, and getting a Merry Christmas text message from him when he was in Sacramento. That guy was really good to me. That's and I don't know if that was your answer or not, but with the Grizzlies, it was there. As far as a person anywhere else, Brett, I mean, I don't know. Tell me, what did you write down on the card?
David Cutcliffe.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that's silly of me, right? I had the David part right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know the esteem that everybody has for Dave and Karen, for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sure. And the thing with Cut is he had to, once he got to Ole Miss and away from Tennessee, he had to realize who was for him, right, and who was going to be with him through that thick and thin. And then he was right there with you. And you're correct. When he got over to Duke, he was still accessible. He was still easy to talk with. And now his son is a head coach at Oxford High School and has won things and done things, and he's following in Dad's footsteps. That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah. Gary Darby, our guest. Gary, what time did you take the headphones off last night and disconnect?
Ooh.
Somewhere between
12:30
and 12:45.
Yeah.
12:30 or 12:45.
So you got 2 days per diem? You got Monday and Tuesday?
You punch the clock whenever you punch the clock, and you're out when you're out. And look, sometimes people will say, "Well, don't you shorten up the post games when it's that late?" Well, you've got items. You guys are in radio. You get it. We got items of business we have to take care of. And you have to do.
We only shortened it after Jacksonville State.
Oh well, and we still probably went way too long on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 12:45ish, I would imagine, and caught a little nap and got up and ran through another day.
Whew. That's a late one. It was a late one watching. I know it was a late one for you. Last thing about this game last night is we've kind of talked a lot about the bad and what went wrong, but I thought Desmond Bane looked good. I mean, you've been wanting to see him kind of light it up like he did last night. 3-point shooting wasn't great, made 3, but 3 for 12. Do you think you'll see that consistency going into the next game, and who else do you think needs to step up on the offensive end if the Grizzlies are going to make this comeback?
We've been saying it in every pregame show that the bench has to be better, and I think you now see, of course, rotations shorten anyway when you get into the playoffs, but now you see the total effect of no Steven Adams and no Brandon Clark, right?
Yeah.
And, look, for Santi Aldama, this is the first for David Roddy, who I think has played pretty well as a true rookie in this. I mean, he's giving you some solid time, some solid run throughout some of these games. But the Lakers have done a tremendous job of causing it to where Luke Kennard can't even find an open look.
Yeah.
Until the end of the game, right? In overtime, when he finally got an open look. And Tyus Jones, the last 3 games, even though, one in game 2, his shooting was not the best. And I think, remember when the Grizzlies kind of went through a lull and there were teams that did a great job on Tyus Jones?
Yeah.
As that veteran on that group, really need Tyus to come back and be that guy that is a starter for a lot of teams in the NBA. I think that's a guy that's got to find a way, not necessarily to score 15 to 20, but he's got to be, a little more in the mix. Find that way with the floaters if he can get in the lane and do those kinds of things and set up the way we've seen him do in the regular season. But all in all, it has to be that entire group, that entire 4, because they've been outscored in all 4 games. Rui Hachimura did it in 2 games by himself, right? And so you've got to find a way for those 4 guys when the Grizzlies need some rest. Ja played the whole third quarter and didn't get much of a rest for the fourth and had to do that. Baines had to play extended minutes. When Jaron's not in foul trouble, the same. So those guys have got to be their best. And for the Grizzlies to win 3 in a row, they got to be their best for 3 straight games.
Yeah. Well, Gary, thanks for joining us. I know, like we said earlier, it was a tough loss last night, but hopefully they can start turning things around tomorrow night. But, again, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you very much. Gary Darby with the Grizzlies Radio Network, and you hear him doing a lot of stuff, and you hear him doing it all so well. We appreciate it. We know it was a late night, early morning for him, and we appreciate Gary joining us and carving out some time with us on this day that we're trying to put the pieces back together after a heartbreaking loss. I know a great place to go if you're thinking about dinner. It's getting that time to start thinking about it, whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Jason's Deli and all these great locations like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. There's one very close to you wherever you are in our area. Over 200 Memphis area associates connected with this Jason's Deli group. And they like to say wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and it is a family affair at Jason's Deli. All that great food, dine in, to go, delivery. They've got it all. In any catering event, any size, no size too large, 5 or 5,000, anytime, anywhere with the good people from Jason's Deli. Healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free, where it's all about choice at Jason's Deli. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. You can invent your own sandwich with the Build Your Own. Plenty of organic food to choose from. All those meats, cheeses, breads, spreads, and the desserts for any meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, the salads, Mesa chicken salad, the Big Chef salad, my favorite, the taco salad, the soups, the pastas, all so good. The salad bar, over 30 items just on the salad bar for you to prepare it however you would like. Catering, again, anytime, anywhere, and in these locations like Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, complimentary free ice cream when you're in the location. And with it finally maybe starting to heat up and stay warm, it's been very popular. The last few times I've been in there, I see everybody wrapping it up with the free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the Aaron Rodgers trade yesterday and the upcoming NFL draft. That's next on
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hi, folks. Good news from the Chevy Sheriff for truck buyers. It's truck month at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Rebates up to $2,000 and discounts high as $7,000. Bankrupt, slow pay, bad credit? It's okay. Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good used truck? Remember, Sunrise Chevy specializes in used cars and trucks under $15,000. Chevy trucks cost less at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, partner. Find new roads to 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Willie Nelson and family are on the road again, live in concert.
On the road again.
With the Avett Brothers.
Ain't no man can save me.
Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs. Elizabeth Cook and Particle Kid.
Whiskey River.
The 2023 Outlaw Music Festival, presented by Wheatley Vodka. Saturday, October 14th, Bank Plus Amphitheater. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Go to OutlawMusicFestival.com for more details.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Did you know Willis Carrier invented the modern air conditioning system in 1902? Since then, a lot has changed, but one thing that hasn't is being comfortable in your home. Choate's prides itself in creating the most comfort possible with each one of our customers' HVAC systems we install. We believe the best system on the market today is the Carrier Infinity System. It has the ability to save up to 50% or more on your utilities compared to your existing HVAC system, and is tailored to enhance your comfort with its state-of-the-art green speed technology. Right now, Carrier is offering up to 72 months, no interest financing, or rebates of up to $1,650 on a new Carrier Infinity system. Don't miss this limited time offer to have a more comfortable home. Give us a call today at 347-8086 or visit us at ChoatesHVAC.com for more information. Turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español.
Gracias, Babbel.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
It's time to hit the road in your new Kia from Gossett Kia on the Pike. You'll be turning heads and dropping jaws in a 2023 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, now $249 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or take your pick from all-around good-looking SUVs in 2023 Seltos LX all-wheel drive, $29.99 due at signing. Or 2023 Kia Soul LX, $27.99 due at signing, $269 a month, your choice, all 36-month leases. Plus reliability you can count on. Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Can't find what you're looking for? Let Bobby J order you a new ride today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte PE 581,348, MSRP 21,690, Seltos P 745,838, MSRP 24,840, Soul P 72,05,317, MSRP 22,250. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. There was a pretty massive trade in the NFL yesterday afternoon between the Jets and the Packers, one that we've been kind of waiting for over the past month or so, but now that it's complete, Brett, are you ready for the Jordan Love era to start in Green Bay?
I think I am. I think they are as much as anyone. I mean, you're seeing so many non-attributed to a name but unnamed source type stories. I think they've been ready to move on a year or two from Aaron Rodgers. I think he has. Now everybody's moved on. Aaron Rodgers' number is going into Packer Ring of Honor, no doubt. But think about it. His Super Bowl was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
His one Super Bowl 13 years ago. I don't think Jordan Love wins the Super Bowl for the Green Bay Packers, and I think Aaron Rodgers has a chance to win one for the Jets. Here's one for you. Right now, if we were doing our summertime quarterback rankings, how would you rank the AFC East quarterbacks? Who would you have number one?
Jay, please.
Well, I think it's got to be Josh Allen, I would say.
Gotta be.
Although Aaron Rodgers has built up.
I don't think it's got to be. I think it's Aaron Rodgers.
Really? Well, I mean, now?
That resume, that arm.
Okay, now that Brett said it, I had to agree with him. I didn't want to be the one to put myself out there for that one, but I agree. Aaron Rodgers built up so much stock of playing an elite level of quarterback on par with Tom Brady, who's winning all these Super Bowls. I understand we judge by championships a lot. But you know what, Brett, since you say it, I'll agree. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen second, and then Tua probably third, and Mac Jones last.
If you got teams to tell you the truth, to shoot you straight, they would rather be going into next year with Aaron Rodgers than the quarterback that they have. I think we would be stunned.
Oh, yeah.
At how many would say, oh, yeah.
For sure.
I'd much rather have him.
I might. So is your list the same as Jay's?
Yeah, I would go Aaron Rodgers 1, Josh Allen 2, Tua 3, Mac Jones 4.
I would do the same. What are you going to do, put Tua last?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the top two. And I love Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is my favorite player in the NFL. But, I don't know, Josh Allen, it's a good player right there.
But
it's tough.
But he is a good player. Aaron Rodgers won back-to-back MVPs.
Yeah, but I mean, are we talking about like going into next season? Or
that
are we
was
just talking?
That was only 2 years ago.
I
though.
know, but he's 40 now.
For
if I'm
2023 football, I would rather have Aaron Rodgers than Josh Allen.
I'd
for
rather have
2027.
Josh Allen.
I think I'd rather have Josh Allen.
Yeah,
I agree with Brett. As long as Aaron Rodgers is playing, I'll take
Tua. And sadly for Tua's got one more. One more leaving a game on the 4-wheeler concussion injury in him. That's it. I mean, almost legally, I don't know how the Dolphins could expose themselves to further injury for him because, and I don't know how the contracts are drawn up, but they may need to do this. I always said this about smoking. Think of if every time you bought a pack of cigarettes, you had to sign a form that you're not going to sue them if you get emphysema or lung cancer or any other side effects from it. Well, you'd almost quit if for no other reason having to mess with it. The places would almost quit. Every NFL game before the game. Now, look now, if you get a concussion today, you can't come back in 10 years wanting to sue us when you're in a debilitated state.
Right.
And that's what that's the risk the Dolphins will run if and when the next concussion occurs to Tua. Because he is proven to be concussed a lot.
Yeah.
Not to make light of Brett's point, because it is a good one. He's absolutely right. But we're not concerned about that for the Dolphins this year because they got a new backup quarterback, Mike White. So this season, if Tua goes down, the Dolphins are in really good hands, Brett. They're not concerned anymore about that.
Did I see, and it could be a completely false rumor, but did I see a rumor that Tua has had thoughts about retiring this offseason?
Well, I think it's like just a television
I'm sure he
topic.
has.
Right.
I'm sure he has too.
But wouldn't you if with the mountain of evidence now, okay, and I would say Tua is 27, 28. Okay, this is all hunky-dory right now.
Yeah.
What's 48 going to look like? What's 58 going to look like? Is this worth it?
Yeah.
Tua's 25.
25.
How about that?
25. Wow. Man, that's an old 25, isn't it?
Sure is.
And with injuries, if nothing else.
That's a battered and bruised from Bama on 25.
Sure is. And if he's not thinking of it, people in his camp are, and they're in his ear about it.
Should be. And independent league neurologists have to be thinking, man, we just can't take another one with him.
No. It's bad. I hate it for him, but it's the situation they're in now.
He's taking martial arts classes. He's learning how to fall. The Dolphins
are
right.
Guys, he's falling wrong.
The Dolphins are in good hands. He's not going to fall on his head anymore. He's okay.
Gotcha.
He's in good hands.
Gotcha. Well, maybe John needs to go to those classes and learn how to stop falling on that hand.
Maybe so.
Think they can help that?
Maybe so.
Let's go ahead and wrap this hour up, get to a break. And when we come back to start the 4 o'clock hour, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us. We'll talk some college football with him. That's next on Sports Time.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off-market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at myerscre.com. That's MYERSCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman, 901-761-5595.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's uqora.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
We're right in the middle of spring and summer's knocking at the door. And what's that I hear? You don't have a pool? Well, Family Leisure's happy to solve that issue for you because they have the lowest prices on pools in town. Plus, you can get a free liner upgrade during this pool sale. Want a spa? All spas in stock are up to $1,000 off. You want a play gym for the kids? They're on sale for under $2,000, and you can get special financing on any of those deals. Now, when you go to Family Leisure and you pick out what you want, I want you to tell that friendly salesperson, I heard on the radio I can get half off my installation. And that's true. You mentioned you heard this ad on radio, and you can get half off any installation. Pools, spas, play gyms, any installation. Don't go another year without. Get to Family Leisure, get a great deal, and get half off installation when you mention this ad. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hurry and shop the final days of SpringFest at Lowe's. Ready to get started on your spring planting? Right now, get select Bonnie 19.3-ounce vegetables and herbs, 3 for $12. Save on indoor updates, too, with up to 40% off select bathroom faucets and vanities. Shop Lowe's today, because Lowe's knows spring. Valid through 4/26. Bonnie offer available in-store only. Actual plant size varies. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location, while supplies last.
Saturday, April 29th, come celebrate 901 night when your Memphis Showboats take on the Gamblers.
We can't wait to have you for the USFL.
Bring the whole crew to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium with special ticket 4-packs.
Over the middle, jump! Oh, God, it's caught!
And get a free 901 Showboats hat. Fantastic seats get you right next to the action for just $10.
And the Showboats chug right back into this game.
Buy your tickets today at theusfl.com.
Everything's greening up, and it's my favorite time of the year because we start playing golf, and I got the best place to go play golf. That is beautiful Miramichi in Woodstock, about 12 minutes from downtown. This gorgeous place, well, it's challenging, but the scenery is so darn beautiful. And did you know that Miramichi Golf Course now offers memberships? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their membership runs $300 a month plus tax and includes unlimited rounds, range balls, no extra cart fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. There is no initiation fee. So you want to go and just practice. They got the best practice facilities around. Unlimited range balls, and it's $300 a month plus play whenever you want to. It's a win-win. Call today for your membership. You want to act fast because there are only a few spots left at the great Miramichi.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you. And joining us now to talk some college football, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville is with us now. Brent, thanks for joining us. I know last week we talked a little bit about Colorado and their upcoming spring game and kind of the transfer portal, but it just continues to see more players enter the transfer portal out of Colorado. 18 players entered on Monday. Since Deion Sanders has taken the job, 41 players have entered, and that was in December. What do you make of this? I mean, Deion came in and said that this is what was going to happen. He could replace everybody that was there. Are you surprised or not really that we've seen this many guys enter the transfer portal?
Not really. I mean, I just think he has the chance to basically replace that roster. Yeah. Now, there's so much hoopla about that right now, but the reality is, I mean, they're probably a 4-8, 3-9 team.
Yeah.
Despite having the spring game on ESPN, when they could have had a lot more games on and should have. That's a sore subject with a lot of people with having nothing but ESPN Plus or SEC Network Plus. But I mean, he is determined he's going to revamp that roster, and look, he can do whatever he wants to in the first year, right? So by doing that, at some point, that's what you're seeing now, is that they're showing a lot of these guys the door, and they'll start reloading. Now the question's going to be, the portal's over by the end of the week, so how many new guys is he going to add within 3-4 days?
Yeah, Brent, it's the scheduled end of the portal, but it feels like the portal never closes. I mean, it's Hotel California. You check out, but you never leave. I mean,
it really is.
It's constant with it, and it's that and NIL are the drive. It's the driving force of college sports. I said yesterday about Tiger basketball, anybody's basketball. I use the Memphis Tigers here because that's what we largely a lot talk about. And I can remember a time for sure by August. I mean, you'd know the team, every number, every hometown. And now you just have so little identity with them. And that's a sport with 5 starters. How about having some association? I mean, and now I love it, and I'm going to start it soon. Whenever the Grizzlies exit from the playoffs, I'm going to start dedicating a lot of Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings to getting ready for college football next year. And I love doing it, but it's like now somebody just throwing a jigsaw puzzle at me and saying, "Hey, put it together."
You need a roster to keep up with these teams. Right now, the roster is changing so quickly that we really don't know what to do with it. So it is, and the problem with this is, and I hope it doesn't land to. I don't think college football is going to be a Major League Baseball necessarily, where you can't keep up with your favorite player for any more than a year or two, and then he's going somewhere else. But it certainly is very different than what it used to be, and I enjoy reading them, but I'm glad I'm not having to write a preseason magazine as some of these guys are.
Oh, and for Phil Steele, the work that he has to do, but he loves it, and he loves doing it. He's very well compensated by it, but he does it. I think he does it first and foremost. Like Mel Kiper, like anybody that does anything well, they do it because they love it. And then everything else kind of fills in after that. And Phil Steele, I think he dominates the summer like Mel Kiper dominates the draft. Visiting with Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. Brent, there's going to be somebody, and I'm not going to dismiss them. I'm not going to be the one. I said yesterday, as long as it's Nick Saban coaching Alabama, I'm never picking them more than 2 losses. Don't know how comfortable I am with trying to scratch out and find 2 out there for them next year, particularly with what they have coming to Bryant-Denny Stadium. But somebody this summer, I think, can carve a niche out, being that prophet of doom and doing the unthinkable and predicting 4 losses for the Mighty Tide this fall. And if he or she ends up being right, they'll look really, really smart. If they're not, nobody will remember it.
Somebody will try that just to get a little bit of summer publicity. I don't think they'll lose 4. I mean, they're certainly capable of losing 2. And again, I mean, this thing's going to revolve around how they are at quarterback and who, and again, do they try to get someone in the transfer portal, as rumors are with Buechner at Notre Dame, being on campus, or do they stay with what they've got, knowing what they've got is very inexperienced and very capable, but also very capable of. I mean, look, if they go with Jalen Milroe, they can have a situation where he throws for 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions and fumbles it twice.
Yeah, and we know one head coach that will go crazy watching that because he's just not used to that. All right. And I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm not. At max, I can tell you right now, when we go W's and L's, Bryant and Jay Morgan for Alabama, somewhere around August 26th or whenever we do it, 27th, 28th, whenever we do it. Max, I'm going to, and it's going to be none at home. But here's the road to for some wiseacre out there, Brent, to do it. The unthinkable of at least one at home. And then, well, College Station, they lost there last time they went there and almost lost to them at home last year. We know the zaniness of going down to Auburn. We know the voodoo there, and then one more from somewhere else. One at home, College Station, Auburn, and one more on the road somewhere else. They almost lost 4 last year, Brent.
Yeah, well, I think for that to happen this year, one of these, the quarterback situation would have to be an unmitigated disaster. I'm not saying that couldn't happen. I do think what's going to help them is the offensive line will be better. The receivers are talented, but there are way too many drops, as it was in the spring game. I do think the defense is better. I give Kevin Steele credit. They know where to line up, that they're more intense in getting to the quarterback. Will Reichard's back at kicker, so that will help them. And I think the running back room is going to be very good for them. I think it's going to be a different approach to them. But look, I mean, you've got to be careful in the league once you get rolling because of if you in this thing. See, the problem they and other teams will have would be you lose a game in September, and then you get to October, and you lose a close conference game, and then you've got 2 at that point. So, do the players buy in, and they reinforce themselves, and they run the table, or is the team too young, and they lose 2 more because they don't know any better at this point? All kinds of scenarios left.
Sure.
And can you imagine if Bama had to go to a Music City Bowl?
Oh, Brett.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over real well at this point. Now
it'd go over about as well as going to the 2 they went over.
Yeah.
In 98 and 02.
Yeah.
Or 3.
The realism for them.
I was at both of them and froze to death.
Oh yes. Yeah, didn't we all? But the reality for them is that they're expected to be solid and again contend for the SEC this year. And next year is when they're expected that the kids grow up and they could be really good. So, but all we're concerned right now is about this year.
Yeah. Well, Brent, since we're talking about the SEC, what do you make of these reports from earlier this week that a trio of SEC athletic directors have proposed the idea of flipping future home games to road games as a response for fans storming the field in SEC conference games instead of the escalating fines that they currently do?
And do we know who these ADs are, Brent?
I don't know if we would ever know that. It may be a while. No, I don't think that's going to ever happen. I think that's tough talk. Mm-hmm. Translated, it means from the commissioner, okay, guys, we don't really want to do this, but this is a worst-case scenario, which means you need to be able to control your crowd. Now, what they may end up doing would be to have some kind of a unheard of fine for the school, or would you be able to beef up your security to the point to where you just line the field with guys? But I do think what you will, I think at first you'll and fans will get tired of this, but you could hear, particularly in a big rivalry type game that looks like an upset, that something to the effect over the loudspeaker, in no uncertain terms, or fans to rush the field after the game is over. So I think they'll do some little things trying to get that point across, and I'm sure Sankey will get that point across in Destin when everyone is there. But again, I mean, I also understand when you've got a crowd, can you control them, and how quickly can they get out of hand?
Well, and we know that stadium personnel cannot keep that many people off the field. But Brent, let's name names. We're talking about it's very few member institutions that this is really being directed at. I'll just go in alphabetical order. Alabama has never stormed a field and never torn down a goalpost. They haven't. They won't. There's nobody they could beat at home in no scenario that they're tearing one down. Right. Arkansas has, but I think Arkansas could get the message. Auburn, the only team they would storm the field for, and they don't. Well, they did after kick six. Okay, they did after kick six, one of the most miraculous plays of all time. Florida's not a field stormer. No, nobody does it on the road, so it's not applicable. This is just at home. Georgia's not. Kentucky has. LSU, they don't storm the field. They just kind of gently stroll around.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes. Yeah,
I mean, they did last year after the Ole Miss game, and I thought, well, okay. I mean, and they kind of sealed off midfield where they wouldn't get on the eye.
Right.
And I'm going, what about the other 95 yards of the stadium? Ole Miss sure has. But again, Mississippi State, they have. But Mississippi State, I can never remember State doing it over an Egg Bowl, if for no other reason, it's kind of the same in the Ole Miss world, pride of not giving the other one that satisfaction.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Mizzou, they have. South Carolina, but when Lou Holtz was there, South Carolina was tearing goalposts down about after every game they won. Tennessee did it last year. A&M did it over Bama. I think they got it out. And Vandy doesn't have enough people to tear down a goalpost.
No, absolutely not. Well, the issue is, look, we know obviously there's a safety issue. You don't want people hurt. But as much as anything else, this is a liability issue. Right. And the last thing these schools want is some unfortunate situation where a student is hurt with the goalpost or trampled or something of that issue. So
that kid at the top of the goalpost in 2014 in Oxford, he's at the very top of the south end zone and has his phone out taking selfies. Hanging on with one arm and phone in the other one, wherever he is today. He's my hero.
How's he going to remember it, Brett, if you didn't take the selfies, you know?
That's it. And now you got video up there.
Exactly, yeah.
You can be live streaming from on top of the goalpost.
Go live. Brent, we were talking about transfers earlier in the transfer portal. DJU, who transferred from Clemson to Oregon State, he had some things to say either earlier this week or last week that came out about what he thought of his time at Clemson. He said, I didn't want to do what I was doing at Clemson. I didn't really like what we were doing scheme-wise. Goes on to talk about how they didn't play to his strengths. And then said, I wanted to go somewhere that would play to my strengths and go somewhere that would develop me for the NFL. I know you pay very close attention to that conference and Clemson. Do you think Clemson put DJU in a bad situation that wouldn't get him to the NFL?
I think the reverse happened. DJU put Clemson in a bad situation.
So true, Brent. So true.
That's the thing that happened. I know he's a proud kid, and he doesn't want to admit that, but that's just a situation where, it just didn't work. Hopefully his new landing spot will be better for him. But Brent and Brian, let's just be honest, he just did not get the job done there, and at some point, I mean, he's not going to admit that, but don't you just be quiet and go on your way and hope it gets better?
And Brent, probably this year's Alabama quarterback is running into those same headwinds.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily them; it's what has preceded them. What preceded DJU at Clemson was Taj Boyd, Deshaun Watson, and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to nail that 4 straight quarterbacks.
Right.
And Bama's now gone really. I mean, Well, it was A.J. McCarron, then Blake Sims. All right, since Blake, when it was Jake Coker. So you could say Hurts, Tua, Mac Jones, and Bryce Young. Well, this new quarterback, that's what he's faced with.
Yeah, absolutely. But and again, whoever it is, whether it's Alabama quarterback or DJU, is you've got to be. It's almost, guys. It's great if you can ring up a lot of points without making a lot of mistakes. But boy, when you're ineffective and you make mistakes, that's just a double whammy that you just cannot overcome in the with the fan base. So
and your defense slips at the same time.
Yes, and you're having to score 40 to 50 points every game just to be able to win because of your own mistakes and because the defense is struggling.
Brett, but who do you think going into August camp will be the number one returning quarterback for an SEC team? Is it Spencer Rattler?
Ooh.
Look, I would.
KJ Jefferson?
That's who I was about to say would be Jefferson. Maybe, at that point. So, look, LSU with Jaden Daniels, again, a spring game is a spring game, but, man, they were.
Strong case.
Yeah, they were really good in the spring game. And they've got a wonderful situation right now. If the SEC did not have this spring transfer rule for the portal guys, it's obvious Jane Daniels is going to be the starting quarterback. But if that wasn't going on, how soon would Garrett Nussmeier have his bags packed for another SEC school?
Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, very
Brian, couldn't we make the case in this market what the Memphis Tigers' return at quarterback is better than about 9 or 10 places in the SEC at least?
At this point, probably true.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the inexperience, I can tell you this. I know a lot of Gator fans around me that would make that trade rather quickly.
I think Florida takes Seth Hennigan right now.
Yeah, you better believe they would.
Auburn?
Very possible.
Bama?
The only caveat to the Alabama thing is Saban's thinking about if I do this. If I take a guy and two of these guys leave, what is that going to do to my future recruiting? That would be his major hesitation to it right now. But your point is a good one. You've got several schools right now. Now, could we say by the end of the year that Will Rogers is going to be in that upper echelon? If that offense works for them guys, not throwing so much of the backs, but letting them run, and Will Rogers working more out of an I formation than what he's been, that's one to watch too.
Yeah, that's a good one. Speaking of quarterbacks down in the ACC, a lot of news around Miami and Tyler Van Dyke, who after the spring game was seemingly unhappy with his NIL payment, kind of a Isaiah Wong situation, and flirted with getting into the transfer portal. And obviously with what John Ruiz has done down there at Miami, I think they were quickly able to make it right. But, I mean, what do you think about that whole situation? Now things are coming out about John Ruiz and his company. Is this sustainable at Miami with basketball and football? And now we've had two stars for both teams kind of come out and talk about their displeasure with how they're being paid with NIL.
They're at a very difficult point down there where they've got to have some success success.
Yeah.
That would have been a major embarrassment, guys, if Van Dyke had gone to Alabama or somewhere else. Obviously, he wanted a better NIL deal. But listen, what you can't forget is Tyler Van Dyke was benched last year in the Middle Tennessee State game.
Yeah.
And now they've got Ja'Cory Brown, who they hope is going to be really good, but they don't know that. And look, if it's not Tyler Van Dyke, they're going to be in some trouble too. I think they're going to be a little bit better, but everybody's that there's so much talk about Florida rebuilding. I'm just telling you guys, Miami's got this bigger rebuilding job, in my opinion, than Florida does.
And Mike Norvell sitting really pretty.
Yeah.
Boy, he is, isn't he?
Sure is.
Yeah. Well,
and did it the old-fashioned way, hard work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not they don't have that worry in Tallahassee right now. Their main worry is, are they going to pick us fifth in the nation and we get the big head?
Right.
A lot of schools have that worry, wouldn't they?
A lot. A ton. But, Brent, thanks for joining us. Enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Good, guys. Can't wait. Take care, okay?
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you, Brent. Brent Beard with us talking college football every week, and Brian, and it gets a lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
It burns me up to no end that it's going to be at a neutral.
Yeah.
But we'll have to get over that. When we get closer to the game, try to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Memphis Tigers go to St. Louis to play the Missouri Tigers, on display that day, Seth Hennigan versus Brady Cook will be good stuff.
Might be, depending on what else is on slate, that might be the best quarterback battle of the day.
It really could be. It really could be. I think that same day is LSU and Arkansas, but Cook versus Hennigan,
it's pretty good.
That's a good one. Now, Cook last year, just 14 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, but he showed late in the year just how good he can be. And he's got that big pocket presence look about him.
Yeah.
At All-Star Chevrolet, they have Chevy truck season ongoing right now, and you can enjoy it at All-Star Kraft Goodman Road, first exit down Highway 78. When you enter into Mississippi, you're there, and you can see all the financing deals on the new Silverados as low as 0% and no payments for 90 days. Drive the one you want. They have them all right there at All-Star. Place a custom order for any new Chevy. Ask for Jeff, ask for Kevin, ask for any member of the All-Star sales team. And they got a ton of super nice certified and pre-owned vehicles as well. Equinox, Tahoe, Silverados, a nice Corvette. And Kevin and Jeff, they asked me to thank all of you who brought their cars, trucks, and SUVs to Olive Branch, where they're paying great cash for whatever you want to sell. You don't have to buy one of theirs. They'll write you a check for yours today. Bring any car, truck to All-Star, and you can get a big check today. If you need spring service or maintenance, call Sean or Jeff in the All-Star Chevy Service Department. They have big savings this month on tires, shocks, struts, even brake and transmission service. Remember, it's not Bartlett, it's not the Pike, not Mount Moriah, South Haven, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy and Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, there's 3 NBA playoff games tonight, all with an opportunity to close their series. We'll talk about those 3 games and recap what happened last night. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Regions Bank presents Live at the Garden at Radians Amphitheater June 3rd with Lady A. This summer's lineup also includes Matchbox 20, Brothers Osborne, Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald and Train. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Live at the Garden is also presented by Duncan Williams Asset Management, AutoZone, True Green, Gossett Motors, The Lily Company, Pro Show, and Mahaffey Events. For more information, go to RadiansAmp.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. We spent a lot of the most of the first hour talking about the Grizzlies in the Lakers, but there was another game last night between Miami and the Bucks. And going into last night, even though Miami had a 2-1 lead in the series, Milwaukee was still favored pretty handedly. I think minus 200, 250 maybe, to win the series with Giannis coming back to the lineup. A lot of people thought that would switch the momentum, and it did for most of that game last night. But then in the fourth quarter, late third quarter, in the fourth quarter, Jimmy Buckets and that lineup, I mean, just completely flipped it on to another gear, and they now lead 3-1.
Do they have it?
Sure. I think so.
The Heat?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think
you want to make a bet on air?
What? You're going to take the team up 3-1, and I take the team down?
Just trying here. Any way to win money?
More precarious. The Heat's 3-1 lead or the Lakers' 3-1 lead?
The Heat.
Really?
Yes.
Like you're
playing
saying,
Giannis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're playing Giannis. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Playing
I
LeBron.
meant the other way.
Because having Giannis,
yes.
you are playing LeBron. Brett.
I have no answer. I just asked the question.
Well, I mean, because I think that the Heat have gotten to this 3-1 advantage with Giannis playing one quarter of a basketball game, and then obviously he played the last game and they won that game, but they've only won one game against Giannis, whereas the Grizzlies have been playing the Lakers full strength. Well, minus Steven Adams, but you ain't getting Steven Adams back. And so for that reason, I think that the Bucks lead. The Bucks have a much better chance to come back in that series than the Grizzlies have a chance to come back in theirs.
I agree.
And tonight, 3-3-1 games tonight. And look at those point spreads. Vegas is telling us these are over.
Yeah, all double-digit spreads is kind of wild. How many? We kind of talked about this yesterday, but when we wake up tomorrow morning, I mean, how many of these are done?
All of them.
Really? I mean, I wouldn't be
Suns
surprised.
close out late. Nuggets in Denver. And see you when we see you, T-Wolves in Boston over Hawks.
Yeah, I think the only one I could see sticking around is Clippers Suns, but still.
No Kawhi.
No Paul George.
Vibe feels bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In Phoenix. And that big four for Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they're really starting to turn it on. I mean, they had turned it on going into the playoffs, but I mean, yeah, I thought this series was going to be a lot closer. Now, that was obviously before Kawhi got injured and isn't playing, but yeah, I think I'm kind of with you. I think all of them are done.
But the real news out of last night, my Leaves and you're Kraken.
That's right. Kraken had to go to overtime, which scared me to death. But you're right. I mean, your two teams, they're playing well right now.
My Stanley Cup final still alive.
Still alive. But I think all of our Stanley Cup
unlikely
finals.
Seattle Kraken and Toronto Maple Leafs pick.
I still want
first
to put money
home playoff
on
game ever won, by the way.
That's right. That's right. Now, they have lost. I was coming in here after the first game saying they've never lost a playoff game, but they have. But
you think any Seattle morning talk radio played Foreigner feels like the first time this morning?
Yes.
Probably not. I can come in tomorrow and tell you.
We played it all the way through the morning after the Grizzlies defeated the Spurs in 2011 to win that series.
It's the first time.
Dave and I started. We started played the full song all the way through. Also, we were running late from being there late the night before too.
Well, I mean, that's why you do it, right? But it was because it was the first time, right?
Yeah,
that's good. I don't know, maybe, but yeah, you're right.
In Grizzlies playoff losses,
okay.
Where's this one going? Where's this rank on the Sting hurt meter?
The game or the series?
The series. Whenever it ends, and we're kind of trying to be put out of our misery right now.
I don't think it's number one.
Sting's more than last year, doesn't it?
For sure. I mean, that's the team that went on and won the whole thing.
It's going to rank 2 for me.
I think so.
The one that hurts the most still because of the chance to win it all, yes, it was there, was in 2011 when it felt like the first time, because it was to win a series, but it was there to win it as the 8. If just get by Oklahoma City, felt good against Dallas in a potential Western Conference Finals, and felt great about matchups against the Eagles.
Yeah.
The Miami Heat and LeBron.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think this one is number one, but it's up there. I mean, you're the 2 seed playing the 7 seed, and, I mean, all throughout the season, leading up to the start of the season, it was your time is now. If you're going to make that push, it's going to be this year, and if it's not this year, it really needs to be soon. So I think it ranks pretty high.
Grizzlies 4-point favorite tomorrow night.
Grizzlies are a 4-point favorite tomorrow night?
They are.
Okay. Well, that makes you feel better for tomorrow night, I guess. But at home, they've played really well at home, so I think they win tomorrow night. And then I think it's done in Los Angeles the next game. But I think they can.
I do too, and that's not classic house money because there's you will be eliminated if you lose. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not playing on the house,
right? Yeah. But I don't know. I think the Grizzlies can pull one out. Where's the rank for you, Jay?
Well, I don't really have a feeling in that regard, but I mean, I had very little expectations for the Grizzlies coming into this playoffs.
Well, you had them losing the series
with Steven Adams being injured,
right?
So for me, it seems if you're
going the Lakers,
if there's any hurt, it should be the expectations that you could have had fully healthy.
Sure,
but I don't.
But I mean, I think that goes into it, does it not? If you're looking at it as a whole.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm the right person to answer that question.
Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to sting. It's going to sting regardless. You need that win tomorrow night when you have really a full slate of games tomorrow night, kind of the most busy night we've had in the past couple of days with the Grizzlies, Lakers, Heat, and Bucks like we saw last night. But then you also get the Knicks and Cavaliers and what could be a shutout game for the Knicks and the Warriors Kings. That's been one of the best series of the tournament. I've been surprised. I know we kind of talked about it a little yesterday, but I've been surprised with what the Knicks have done in this series against the Cavaliers. It looked really, really good. I
have too. We were group lock on Cleveland for that series, and it looks like New York's going to win that series. I don't think they blow this, but I think Cleveland gets a game tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow night's games doesn't have the feel of wrapping it up that tonight's games.
Right. Yeah, but I mean that's pair of 8-1s and then a banged up Clippers team. But yeah, no, you're right. I think the Cavs and the Grizzlies could both pull one, and the Bucks could all win tomorrow night. But yeah, I mean, I really did come into this playoffs thinking Knicks Cavaliers was going to be the best series out of any of these. But Jalen Brunson, I mean, he's proven why New York went out and got him over the offseason.
And just rubs it in even more for that malfeasance by Cuban in Dallas.
Yeah, it really was. But I don't know.
I mean, to have him right there.
Yeah.
And it's really got them flailing.
Mm-hmm. It does. But
because I mean, they did get to the Western Conference Finals last year.
People forget that. I forget that at times. But you're right.
I had forgotten it a few weeks ago and was reminded of it.
Yeah, well, it's hard
when
to
I said they hadn't won a series since they won it all.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
I forgot about that. That's right. That was a couple weeks ago. But I don't know. I mean, I think Jalen Brunson has the better opportunity here than he would have had in Dallas for sure. So I think it's just a little different, but who knows?
Yeah, it is different. At the commissary, 2 great locations for Memphis-style barbecue we've come to know and love. It just screams the Memphis way, the slow-cooked way. The new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar are the original in Germantown. At the Collierville commissary, plenty of room. Perfect for big groups, the perfect place for any large group. The game watching tomorrow night, if you can't make it down to FedEx Forum, a lot better tip time tomorrow night for game watching around town, and best place to do it at the new Collierville commissary because we all can't get downtown. So go there and start your feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos that are the staple of sport anywhere, created, invented at the Germantown commissary, in the early 80s. Smoked chicken wings, outstanding. If you're craving an easier way to order right now for dinner time, text commissary to 33733. You can dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled, on a plate, on a sandwich, all the sides, beans, deviled eggs, slaw. You can even order it by the pound or a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. And all those desserts like the lemon icebox pie, the strawberry cake, the terrific banana pudding. You can get those whole pies and cakes. People already starting to think about what are we going to do for Mom on Mother's Day. Let the commissary do all the work. Take Mom to the commissary or get it to go and have it at your house. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville, in Germantown, those party areas I mentioned, to get outside. The weather, we're ready for it to get normal and feel like late April instead of November. You can get outside and enjoy those. Orders to go, catering, always time for the commissary. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com.
Let's get to a break, and on the other side, we'll get to big number of the day.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Are you looking to lease a commercial space for your business? Call Stephen Hoffman. Are you a landlord looking to have your space leased? Call Stephen Hoffman. Maybe you're looking to buy or sell commercial real estate. If so, you want a professional broker looking out for your best interest, and that broker is Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Stephen is a Memphis native who knows his market well and only works the commercial side of real estate. He works for a great firm that has been locally owned and operated in Memphis for almost 40 years. Whether representing tenants, landlords, or investors alike, you are sure to get great market analysis, access to on and off-market listings, and a tough negotiator on your behalf. Call 901-761-5595 and ask for Stephen Hoffman. You can also find him on the web at myerscre.com. That's MYERSCRE.com. Stephen Hoffman with Myers Commercial Real Estate. Representing your real estate business is his business. Call Stephen Hoffman, 901-761-5595.
Inventory is arriving daily at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, and we're ready to put you in a new ride today. Great things come in subcompact packages, like your new 2023 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, 41 mpg highway, buy for $18,245 or $299 a month. And take sporty to a whole new level in the 2023 Eclipse Cross Rally Art, with rally-inspired trim, $399 a month, or buy for $31,235. Or 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander, 7 seats, now $34,055, or just $499 a month. And you'll get peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate G4 PHF 03721 MSRP 18745 Eclipse PC 037,627 MSRP 31735 Outlander PZ 12158 MSRP 34555 includes all rebates and incentives 695 PF excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/23 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Have you ever wondered what's inside your air ducts? Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you are one of many who suffers from bad allergies, especially in the Mid-South, and would like to improve the indoor air quality of your home, then Choate's Air Duct Cleaning could be a solution for you and your family. Air duct cleaning has been proven to help people with allergies and other respiratory issues by removing buildup of debris from your home's air supply. Air duct cleaning will also help eliminate dust from building up in your house. Therefore, you don't have to dust as much either. And air duct cleaning is also shown to help improve the performance of your air conditioning and heating system. Choates is the name you can trust for all your indoor air quality needs. So call Choates today at 755-4797 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule a free video inspection to help you breathe a little easier. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So my big number today is 4. Last night, Jimmy Butler scored 56 points against the Milwaukee Bucks. We talked about it a little earlier. He ties 4 players for 4th in points in a playoff game. He joins Charles Barkley, Wilt Chamberlain, and Michael Jordan with 56 points. In front of him, Donovan Mitchell sits at 3rd with a 57-point game. Elgin Baylor is 2nd with a 61-point game, and Michael Jordan leads the way with a 63-point game.
Got a 63-pointer against the Celtics on a Sunday afternoon in 1986, but 56, and he made it look easy, too. Jay Morgan, I'm going to go next, and we'll see if we can keep the kind of in order going. Brian had 4, mine 6. Aaron Rodgers has only played 6 career games at his new home at MetLife Stadium. 4-2 against the Giants, just 2-0 against the Jets, as the Packers and the Jets have not played that much since the merger.
Yeah, it's a good number.
So you got to get loose in MetLife Stadium, which is saying he has no experience. It might take him a year or so to get going in that
how
stadium.
How many years does he have?
Well, that's
See if we can keep it going. 4-6 is your big number 8?
It's not, but you can have a different pattern there. The first one went from 4 to 6. That's 2. Mine goes up 3. It's 9. Spencer Strider's streak of 9 consecutive games with at least 9 strikeouts is a Braves franchise record. He had a great game yesterday. He had 13 strikeouts, and he's the only MLB pitcher to tally 13 strikeouts in at least 3 games the past 2 seasons. So really good company for Spencer Strider, the company being nobody.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I like strikeouts, but you know who doesn't? All the analytics guys. They want you putting the ball in play and grounding out 2 pitches into an at-bat instead of, having that, long at-bat with maybe some foul balls and you ringing up a bunch of strikeouts. The analytic people hate strikeouts.
They sure do. But Spencer Strider, he's kind of hit the scene and quickly become one of the better pitchers in the league.
Have y'all scrolled through game times the last 3 or 4 nights? Are they getting a little bit longer?
I haven't even looked at them. I
haven't noticed them getting longer.
Yeah,
but that's just
to me like it.
I haven't looked at the times. Those are just in the Cardinals and Braves and Marlins games that I've watched. They seem to be pretty consistent, at least in my mind. However, there have been a lot of 10-run, 11, 12-run games the past couple days as well.
And had that wild one last night with the A's to get win number 5.
Yeah.
It was 11-10, right?
11-10.
Yeah. And they hit 3 or 4 home runs in the first 2 innings.
Almost impossible for 11-10. I mean, just the pitching, you're going to plow through. That's going to take a while with any rule.
any rule. I mean, that was incredible. Had to go to overtime to decide a winner. I think Brent Rooker hit the first home run.
I believe it's extra innings in baseball.
What'd I say?
Overtime.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. We were talking about the Grizzlies earlier. Extra innings.
The way we're doing baseball extra innings now, it kind of feels like overtime.
Feels like overtime.
With the Ghost Runner.
That's right.
Which,
thank you, Brett.
Still, please.
Hey, big fan of the Ghost Runner.
You are?
No, you are.
Oh, no, I'm not. It drives me crazy.
I know. But I don't know.
Redbirds got a win earlier today after losing
on
Sunday afternoon to break the long streak, but started another streak. Off to a good start. That game was early today in Durham, the AAA affiliate of the red-hot Tampa Bay Rays. And 20-3 is cooking with hot gas and hot grease. That's something.
Did you see the catch by Wander Franco yesterday?
I did, and today on MLB Network they were going through the famous one-hand catch plays, and that play of a young, I'm telling you, he could not have been weighing 160, Ozzie Smith at shortstop for San Diego. It took a funky carom, and he thought it was going to his left, and he snares it over his right shoulder as it bounced crazy, bare hand. And then Ozzie Smith is the batter when Kevin Mitchell catches one barehanded down the left field line for the Mets. Kevin Mitchell, former MVP of the National League, and a wow man.
Really?
Yo, wow. Here's some wild Kevin Mitchell stories out there.
Love it. I love a good wild man. But, yeah, no, that catch was unbelievable. Reminded me of Odell Beckham. In a different sport, but on the other side of that, you talk about the red hot Rays, Cardinals again last night, another loss. Jordan Montgomery looked good,
pretty good,
but these losses are starting to stack up.
They really are 7 games back of the Buccos.
And then the Pirates look really good right now. I think
sign me up right now for a Pirates-Orioles World Series. I would love it. And break out the double knit uniforms from in the day. Give me 1979 Weir family all over again.
Oh, Jay, you'd sign up for that.
Yeah,
because you're turning into an Orioles guy.
Well, I just think if they're good enough for God, they're good enough for me. Who am I to question?
And
the big man?
Why do you think God's an Oriole fan?
If I had to explain it, you just don't get it.
I just don't get it.
It seems very obvious to me.
I don't know. I was just curious. I didn't know if you had the
And
spark
think
notes.
with the Orioles, what they do with all, and they'll break out different uniform combos almost every day, and every single one of them seems to work, doesn't it?
Yeah. I like their uniforms. I like their colors.
They're all good. Well, the Diamondbacks, I thought, hey, they wore the black unis last night, and they've got this little red.
They don't work.
Oh, Brett, I love the black unis for the D-backs. I think they're good looking.
I like their
a handsome uniform.
Their cream Scorpio or what does it say on there?
I don't know.
It's very busy.
It's very busy. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But that's I like that one a lot.
The black ones are very classic.
Black ones are good. I like the black ones.
Get me to October in an Orioles-Pirates World Series and give me some games that start and finish in the sunshine. I'd be fine by it.
I'll sign up with the second part. I can't sign up with the first part. It's gonna have to give me some more convincing to sign up for that, but not today. Let's go ahead and wrap up this hour. When we come back to start the 5 o'clock hour, a short 5 o'clock hour because we got to get out of here for Ole Miss baseball. But Beau Marchant from collegepro.com and Sports Illustrated, he'll be with us next.
Call the pros at Conway Services and save up to $1,000 on select new energy-efficient HVAC systems. Plus, receive a free whole-home air purification system. Request your free consultation or second opinion today. Call 384-3511 to schedule your appointment. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 1968.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte PE 581,348, MSRP 21,690, Seltos P745,8,378, MSRP 24,840, Soul P7205,317, MSRP 22,250. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/23. Dealer stock only. Warranties and limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I'm ready to get on the road for better days ahead, and I know Kia's the way to go. What do you got over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
How about 2023 Kia Forte LXS 41 MPG $249 a month, $27.99 due at signing, or take your pick from these great SUVs. 2023 Seltos LX all-wheel drive, $29.99 due at signing, or a 2023 Kia Soul LX, $27.99 due at signing, only $269 a month, all 36-month lease.
Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
And if you don't see it, I'll order exactly what you're looking for. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on eating out, fuel costs, and replacing expensive grills that cannot stand up to the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
It's time to celebrate amazing deals at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat's Ram Truck Month and Jeep Celebration Event. How about 2023 Jeep Compass Sport 4x4, $429 a month, or buy for $30,590. 2022 Dodge Charger XST, $31,785 or $449 a month. That's $4,000 off. And a tough 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4, now $699 a month. That's $5,000 off. Hey, you won't find a better deal anywhere else, and if we don't have it, Gossett will order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike or online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Compass PT 531,208, MSRP 31,590, Charger NH 202,120, MSRP 35,785, Ram PN 526,883, MSRP 54,090, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2023 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now to talk about the NFL and the upcoming draft. Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com and Sports Illustrated is with us now. Bo, thanks for joining us. We've been talking for a month or so now about the idea of Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, and it's now reality. Yesterday, the news was broke that Aaron Rodgers would be sent to the Jets for a handful of picks. What do you think about the trade, and what does this trade mean for both the Jets and the Packers going into next season?
I think there's a few times in my mind where I look at both sides and I think both teams walked away a winner. I mean, I think it's, Joe Namath is the last historical quarterback that played for the Jets, and we know how long ago that was. And now they got a Hall of Fame MVP quarterback. So if you're the Jets organization, you have to be on cloud nine. And on the flip side, you look at the Green Bay Packers. We know this was kind of a jaded relationship, a lot of turmoil, a lot of frustration on both ends. They took Jordan Love a few years back, and now they kind of get to see what they have in their former first-round pick from a few years ago. And they get some draft picks, for an aging Hall of Fame guy. So I think both sides, I thought the value was correct, and I think Green Bay's happy to get out of that contract. And the Jets are happy that they finally have a guy under center that they can really say this guy can deliver. And now it's, you look at that franchise, and I think it's kind of like if any of these teams that are kind of mediocre would go out and sign a Lamar Jackson, you instantly become a contender, at least a playoff team. And that might not sound much, but if you're the New York Jets, playoffs or contender, that's not often referred to. And probably most of the bottom dwellers of the NFL that aren't going to pursue the likes of Lamar Jackson are probably going to kind of stay stagnant in that phase because it's hard to find a guy of that talent and that level at the quarterback position.
Bo, do you think we have a Lamar Jackson blockbuster story between now and when the commissioner calls out the first pick?
I don't know. You know what it is? I don't know if teams were holding back now. I'm not sure what teams could be holding back for. But
and why would you? Yeah.
Why would you? You know what I mean? Like I said, I can see why Green Bay especially wanted to get this deal done before the draft because they get draft stock now. But if you're the Colts and you want Lamar Jackson, you would assume that you're going to have to start with the fourth pick of the draft, and that might satisfy the Ravens. After that point, it's where everything becomes tricky. So I don't know where teams would make out. The only thing I could think of is if the Ravens were in some sort of discussion, and there's so many parts into this that would have to go into that, saying, hey, you know what, we're the Atlanta Falcons and we're sitting here at 8 and so still on the board, then we'll do the trade. I mean, maybe that's the thing that they could be thinking. And I spent the day in Pittsburgh yesterday. The Steelers had their, draft press conference. I love it, but it's one of those funny things. It's very few times where you really go to a press conference and you learn absolutely nothing because they're not going to tell us anything. They're not going to.
Everybody's fibbing.
Yeah, everybody's fibbing, and you sit there. You just try to ask questions maybe about what they do, but even that, they're so transparently, sinister in terms of the responses. And I mean that.
The deflection's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just an amazing job of really not giving you anything. That's hard to do for a half hour, but them and every other staff in the league are able to kind of,
It's quite impressive to be able to tap dance like that for 45 minutes.
It is. It's fun, but I think but you can't rule anything out. I mean, remember Drew Bledsoe got dealt on the third day of the draft back, 2002, 2003. So nobody saw that coming. We knew Brady was becoming the guy, but you're talking about Drew Bledsoe, who signed the largest contract at the time a year prior. He gets hit by and then he's out of the game. So we don't know, and we're not going to know. Just like last year, A.J. Brown, the big deal during the draft between the Titans and the Eagles. And, this draft, the one name I'm looking up, and it's kind of not stirring up, but I think Aaron Donald with the Rams. You talk about a guy who's been contemplating retirement for the last 2 years. After they won the Super Bowl, he was considering it. He comes back. He gets a little bump in pay. A guy of that caliber, I don't really think he wants to just, wallop in the mire, if you will, in Los Angeles. And if it's not now, I bet it's going to be a topic come, trade deadline time, where if the Rams aren't successful and their record is lacking in terms of wins, losses, that his name doesn't resurface again as a candidate where teams are, in need of an impact defensive player and they're ready to win now. And like most guys in his position, that's what they want to do as they enter the twilight of their careers.
Do you still think we start 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks, and it will be the third time ever? And I did the research. The only quarterback drafted in those other times it went 1, 2, 3 that took the team that drafted them to the Super Bowl was Donovan McNabb. Do you still think we start QB, QB, QB?
No, and I wrote that article to argue the idea that we could have a 1-2-3. I've done two mocks, and I've had 1 and 2, but I've never had a 3. Even now, you're kind of hearing these rumblings about C.J. Stroud and what the Texans might do at number 2. We know again, we don't know anything, but you just got to assume at this point Bryce Young is 1. And again, D'Amico Ryans, he was in San Francisco. I was updating my mock draft. I mean, from the time he arrived with Kyle Shanahan, they took defensive linemen in 4 of the last 6 drafts. So I think he knows what, you build from the inside out. And we know they need a quarterback. But if you don't feel comfortable with one of those guys and you feel you could get a Tyree Wilson, a Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, then you make the move. Remember, they're sitting at 12 and they have draft ammunition if they wanted to sneak back in, or just wait at 12 and grab yourself a Hendon Hooker or somebody like that. I think those guys are going to be around, when that top of the 10th round back. I know Tomlin mentioned it yesterday that they made it a point to allow other teams know that they're not taking a quarterback. So, again, you don't know if this is just more draft smoke by another coach or GM. But, if Tomlin's saying, that they made it a point to allow other teams at 17 that they're not taking a draft, then maybe that they know other teams sitting there that want to move up. That's where they're going to be looking at a Hendon Hooker, possibly an Anthony Richardson, even a Will Levis if these guys don't go that high.
When you talked about C.J. Stroud and kind of the negative talk around him the last week, it seems like a lot of that has come after the reporting test scores on the S2 cognition test, and it sounds like he scored an 18% is what it was being reported. I mean, how much do you think teams kind of take that test in, and do you think a lot of this is because of that?
Well, this is smokescreen time. And,
right.
When I think you look at it, and listen, if I believe in C.J.
That's
Stroud,
a really nice way to put it, Bo.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't know where the information, like the score is the score.
That's right.
But in terms of how teams evaluate these guys, it could be another team getting the word out via an outlet where they hope he slides.
Right.
They don't want him to go time, or vice versa. There could be teams hoping these guys. If you don't want a quarterback per se, I mean, you want Young, Stroud, Richardson, Levis, Hooker. You want them to go 1 through 5. So the Lions are sitting there, and they were like, the Lions are sitting at 6, and they get the first choice of any defensive player in the entire draft. That would make their day, and any other team. But I think the Stroud. I hope it's not that sinister. But we've this is often what we see at this time of the year. There's so much jockeying for position and smoke screens and things being sent that this is big time business. Even yesterday, I mean, the depths that they talked about in terms of finding out as much as they can about these players. I mean, a little bit you could call scary. It's we all kind of think of like the Big Brother. These guys are under that type of microscope going through this 3-month process leading up to what's going to happen Thursday night.
1996, the last draft with no quarterback taken in the first round. Tony Banks was the first quarterback selected that year, went 42nd overall in the second round to the Rams, got in the Super Bowl later in his career. That year for the Rams, this is amazing what Dick Vermeil and the Rams were able to come back and do between this draft and the injury to Trent Green. In this draft, one pick before Marvin Harrison goes to the Colts, the Rams had a shot at Marvin Harrison to throw him in there with Greatest Show on Turf. Instead, they take Eddie Kennison from LSU. Wow. And earlier in the first round, they took Lawrence Phillips and passed on Eddie George. They could have had Eddie George and Marvin Harrison as part of the Greatest Show on Turf.
That's great insight, Brett. 'Cause that's amazing. And the one thing I thought about was, so if Marvin Harrison is a Ram, how does that impact Peyton Manning's career? Not that Peyton Manning was going to be an average quarterback by any stretch.
How does it impact Torrey Holt's career? If they take Eddie George, does it change the trade from the Colts to the Rams of Marshall Faulk with Peyton?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then no Edgerrin James with the Colts.
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic stuff, Brett. I love that. Yeah. When you thought of it, I thought of Kevin Dyson going. We know Randy Moss had his problems, but that's like Kevin Dyson going before Randy Moss, when he went to the Titans. You're just like, wow. You talk about a lot of egg on your face with that one.
Yeah.
And how about this one? So the Rams take Lawrence Phillips. They miss badly. Just a horrific, nightmarish ending for Lawrence Phillips and to his life. The Panthers take Tim Biaka-Batuka, and then the third back in the first round is Eddie George.
That's amazing. And that's when running backs are dominant,
Yeah.
They sure were. They ruled the world.
They did. And it's a different time now. Like I said, we'll probably get Robinson, and that'll probably be it for the running backs, I think.
Bo, every year around this time, I ask you this question. I know you'll be at the Steelers draft. That's a good spot to be. But if you could really go behind the scenes, unfettered access, I mean, they'd show you everything. I mean, what draft room would you like to be in? What organization?
I'm going to give you two answers. I still like to see how Belichick does it because he's so secretive. And then on the flip side, I would love to be in Seattle's because, I've been able to.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Yeah. And, John Schneider has to be one of the most common folk type general managers that you will ever come across. I mean, if you sat down in a pub to grab a beer and you looked across and that guy was having a beer next to you, the last thing and the last way he would act is as if he's a Super Bowl winning, 2-time Super Bowl appearing general manager, and that's John Schneider. So I think the fun side, down at the Combine, we did a seminar. Well, my buddy puts it on. I just help him out. But Schneider accepted a reward, and he was joking around that everybody that has to come in there, they were playing reggae music for the prospects when they were doing their interviews. So just a loose, fun-loving type of style. And on the flip side, I imagine it has to be a military-type atmosphere when you're with the Patriots. I doubt Belichick's playing any kind of toe-tapping music if he's going to put you through that gauntlet of questions. So those two, if I had to pick one, I don't know if I could. I'd have to flip a coin. But those two at the top of my mind because in my mind, I think they're just opposites of the spectrum.
And for old time's sake, Brian, I know you would love to do this. Wouldn't we all like to have been on the Yellow Submarine with Jerry Jones COVID year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just
when he was out deep in the Pacific in the submarine somewhere.
Why not? Hey, if you can do it.
One of my favorite draft moments of all time. Bo, when kind of going back to the quarterbacks in this draft, we talked about the negative stuff coming out about C.J. Stroud, but it seems like over the past couple of days, it seems more positive things coming out about Will Levis, and a lot of people thinking Will Levis could go pretty high. I think yesterday, Will Levis is now the betting odds favorite to be the second quarterback taken and the number 2 pick in the draft. What do you think about this? I mean, do you really think there are teams out there that would take Levis over C.J. Stroud?
I don't. The people that I talk to, there's a lot of mechanical things with Levis that I think are more correctable with Stroud. Yeah. I know he's a muscle-bound guy. I know that's kind of, he has like a Brady Quinn type frame, and this is that serious over-critiquing that we get caught. Kenny Pickett last year in his hands, but we get caught up in his movement, his hip movement. Is he too thick? I mean, and now Bryce Young's too small. We overthink everything. Right now, we're a couple days away. I mean, I like Bryce Young and I like Hendon Hooker. The other three guys, I'm very reserved about thinking that they can be starting quarterbacks in the league. And granted, that means nothing because, again, I would have gave up a king's ransom for Paxton Lynch, and he was one of the most incredible bust first-round picks in the last decade by the Denver Broncos. So, but I think Hooker, if Hooker doesn't tear his ACL, you could argue that he's the Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah. Tennessee's off the bigger, brighter things, and he's definitely a healthy Hooker is definitely in the realms of what we're talking about with the Stroud, Levis, Bryce Young. I think he's right up there. Richardson, I think he's right there. Age, I'd rather have a 25-year-old. I'd rather have a 26-year-old. I mean, next year, if he got in, he's going to be a 26-year-old rookie. I'd rather have a 26-year-old rookie than a 21, 22-year-old rookie leading my team. There's still 4 years. That's a big 4 years in a young man's career to, have that kind of, life. There's a lot that could go on between 20 and 25 that can make you still a little bit of an adolescent into a young adult.
And with the Aaron Rodgers trade, I looked up today where he went in the draft, went 24th in the first round to the Packers. Only one quarterback went before him. That was Alex Smith. Alex Smith had a good NFL career, 35,000 yards and really nice person, and the horrible injury. But Aaron Rodgers ended up being Aaron Rodgers. 3 picks in front of Aaron Rodgers. Played quarterback in college, but was making the move to wide receiver. 3 picks in front of Aaron Rodgers. The Jacksonville Jaguars took Matt Jones from Arkansas.
Well, he made the incredible catch at the Senior Bowl, and it goes back
40
to
time.
Yep, at the 40 time, the catch at the Senior Bowl put him on the map. He's the offensive equivalent to Jadeveon Clowney, making the sack, force, fumble recovery against Michigan. I mean, that's how I look at Mac Jones. That play and that time, those are just, you get caught up in it, and lo and behold, another draft bust. And I was there.
Matt Jones is a very nice person and does sports talk radio in Northwest Arkansas. He's a really nice person, and he doesn't. He's not a real boastful, not braggadocious at all. He's a really nice person, but he can tell everybody, I got drafted ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. We were. That was the first draft as a fan. That was the first draft I ever attended in New York City. Was that particular draft, and I remember the entire place stood up and applauded when Aaron Rodgers kind of, because the guy thinks he's going to be the first or second pick, and pick after pick after pick, and lo and behold,
green room got uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was a joyous occasion. Everybody stood up and applauded, so I'm sure that made him feel a little bit better. But that was my first draft. I forget what year that. What year did he go, Brett? 2000 what?
6, 7.
Okay, yeah. So
5, somewhere in there. Yeah,
right around there.
Good
so
first draft.
Good timing.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I shared this story, but at that time you had to basically sleep out or stay out all night, sleep on the sidewalk to get your ticket to get into the draft. And we stayed at my buddy's cousin's apartment, and the 3 of us basically slept on the street. And there was a guy and a girl, Miami Dolphin fans, and they were in front of us, and they got their tickets. And then when you went into the facility at the convention center, the Javits Center, you kind of sat, next to the people who were in that line with you. And I think I took Ronnie Brown, the running back, 3rd or 4th that year, right after Cadillac or before Cadillac, whatever. But it was in the top 5. It was a top 5 running back pick. Ronnie Brown was selected. He said, "Nice meeting you guys," and they went.
It's the way to do it.
I was just like, we're like, you spent the entire night sleeping on the streets of New York City. You waited till the 4th or 5th pick, 3rd pick. Ronnie Brown went very high, and then they packed it up and they were like, "We're out of here." Wow. That's all they wanted to see. So that's my rookie draft story for you guys.
That's hilarious. Well, Bo, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the draft tomorrow night, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Oh, I can't wait, guys. I can't wait. Have a wonderful draft week, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bo.
Bo Marchant from collegetopro.com and Sports Illustrated. He joins us every Tuesday to talk about the NFL. But we're out early tonight for Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. That pregame starts at 5:30. So let's go ahead and get to Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that with the Aaron Rodgers trade yesterday, we have a quarterback in the NFL. Do you know who it is?
I don't.
Dak Prescott.
Way to go, Dak.
How about that?
That's good.
I mean, I don't know if that's positive or a negative for me as a Cowboys fan, but hey.
I think positive.
I think so too, but that's what I learned today.
Well, he is, and with the shakeup, I love seniority. That's good stuff there, Brian. I learned that Magic Reeves did it again last night, outscored Ja Morant. Let that settle in. And he torched him off the dribble a couple of times. Wonder if he's going to have Magic Reeves ones for sale anytime soon. Everything goes back for me in this series to Game 1 like it did last year in the Golden State Series. You just can't give up Game 1 at home. You can't.
Man. No, you really can't. What I could have done without, we talked earlier with Brent Beard about it, but just the roster turnover that's going on at Colorado right now. I mean, since Deion Sanders has taken over, 41 players have entered the portal, 18 have entered since Monday. I know he went in and said that this is what I'm going to do. I can replace all of y'all, but I want to see how it looks when we get to actual game time, when we get to the regular season, because I don't know if I'm so sure this was the right move to do.
Very good point, Brian. And I've said this a lot about a lot of different people. You can be the portal king. Mm-hmm. Come September, October, November, you got to be the chemistry king. Yep. And then you got to coach all that. I mean, you got all this, and football's not the pick-up type of game where you just you play shirts and skins. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got to have some cohesion in football. I could have done without. I think this is on the media to enforce. When they don't talk after they lose, the next time they win, you don't go talk to them. How about that?
Well, that's one way to do it, I guess.
Gonna have to stick together, though.
Yeah, gotta be a team. And I guess that's an idea, maybe. What I'm keeping an eye on tonight, we talked about it earlier, 3 NBA games tonight. Hawks, Celtics, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Clippers, Suns, all 3 with an opportunity to send a team home. In baseball, we already got one game going on, Rockies versus Guardians, but later tonight, our Cardinals, they'll take another swing at the Giants.
They will out in San Francisco at Oracle Park. Should be 3 closeouts tonight in the NBA. Kawhi won't play. Minnesota can't play. And the Hawks don't matter if they play. Double-digit favorites in all those games, 3 NHL games, 2 series tied at 2-2. And Carolina can close out tonight against the Islanders. And the 20-3 Rays, unbeaten at home against the champs, the Astros. And we're talking names from the past like the White Stockings and the Maroons and teams from the 1880s.
Yeah,
that they're starting undefeated at home with.
Well, and the Rays took care of business last night with the Astros, and that was with a rookie pitcher on the mound. So we'll see if with Drew Rasmussen, if maybe they can continue going, because they've been unbelievable. But also tonight, Mariners, Phillies, Rangers, Reds. I mean, there's a lot of games tonight. I don't know if any of them really intrigue me.
All right. If you could be anywhere in American sport tonight at a game, Jay Morgan, you jump in it too. We're going to call it Beam Me Up. You just beam there. You get moved to this place. Where would you go? I would want to be in Oracle. I've been to a game there for the Giants, but I've never seen the Cardinals there. Where would you be?
I would be in Phoenix, Arizona for Clippers Suns tonight.
I would like to go to Truist Park tonight to watch the Marlins play the Braves, Game 2 of that series.
Of course you'd want to go there. That's
good
choice.
I thought one of y'all would say a hockey game.
Oh, not tonight. You asked me tomorrow.
I only want to go to the Garden.
Different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will ask you tomorrow.
Okay. Well, you already know my
Beam me up
for tomorrow.
If Amazon just can deliver us there like in 10 minutes.
Maybe we should work on figuring out how to do that. Maybe we can patent it or something. But we got to get out early. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State is next at 5:30 pregame. First pitch is at 6. Enjoy your night. We'll be back again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Homer Skelton